Okay, hi guys and what's up? So today I wanted to talk to you about a few things. I'm actually pushing now so that I can obviously post 2 days a week since I decided to cover up a few things the other day because I had to get some stuff off my chest. Yeah. Now, before I obviously start talking to you, I wanted to talk to you about couture houses. Like, I'm noticing that some of these couture houses are not only led by women. I feel like anything that a woman usually does, I think that anything a woman is usually championing, I'm usually intrigued by it, because when do you see women of color leading Chanel? It's normally men that lead these kind of top couture houses, but I digress. I feel like Chanel's top voice is a woman of color. And that is so amazing to see. Anything women are on, right? Anything that women are on, I'm so here for it. They just bring that extra Midas touch to it. Driving performance with purpose is always kind of the way to go, as long as they are obviously not pandering to things that obviously don't make sense. But sometimes I think when women take on high positions like that, they must feel an incredible amount of pressure. You know, one thing I don't like when I see models walk down the runway is the lack of representation. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know, right, the themes of the events for the runways, but the models aren't a real representation of everyday people at all, especially women of color. This is because not every model looks like, this is because I feel like not every model looks like that not every woman looks like the women you see on the runway, which is absolutely ridiculous. It seems like Dior, amongst a few other brands, have been the only ones amongst a few have been the only one to kind of get it right and break out of this kind of mold, still maintaining obviously their position as a luxury brand, but yet still appealing to a much wider audience. I think the whole concept of luxury used to be seen as something that was only attributed to a few, but they have marketed themselves in such a way that it appeals to a broader range of people without obviously compromising their values or standards, basically. It's a bit like Shields. She has positioned herself as an elite sportswoman while staying relatable and obviously authentic. She's from the Midwest Michigan. She's at the top of her game and has obviously managed to capture fans from a wider audience, which is very similar to obviously Dior and Chanel, whose core identity is obviously is a luxury brand with an authentic feel. They are both relatable and exude excellence, with Shields being a champion and Chanel a symbol of craftsmanship and luxury. Not only are they both authentic and aspirational, but they appeal to a broader audience. For example, Dior produces perfumes while still making pieces that are exclusive and rare, but still have mass appeal, but still maintaining their position as an exclusive brand. They just get it. And so do Dior. They both get it. In the words of Coco Chanel, luxury must be comfortable, otherwise it is not luxury. Now, Coco Chanel is a brand valued at, I think, 19.4 billion, whilst Dior is valued at 10.4 billion, which is interesting. Chanel surpasses Dior by brand value by far. What is the purpose of me saying that? Chanel's just much better. That's the long or short of it. Chanel's just much better. Now, before going on to discuss other topics, I feel it's only right that I talk about the WNBA and the NFL, as if I'm not mistaken. The NFL's obviously started. The NWA season starts in summer, which is annoying. But this may be because the sports calendar is maybe busy, or because they're unable to kind of fit it into their rota, whilst the NBA season has obviously started already. Not being funny, but having the WNBA start in the summer month, it's not really ideal, I think, because that's when people start to go on holidays and things of that nature. So I don't think it's really ideal to have the NWA in the summer when people are on holiday, kids are off school and all them things. But probably when the organisers, I think probably this is when the organisers could essentially fit it in, and it probably be, no, but probably when the organisers could fit it in, and probably, obviously, that's the time when it is a good time to obviously be televised. Do you know one thing, yeah, I notice about American culture, which irks me, is the amount of ads between programs. It's ridiculous. If you've ever been to America and you're sitting there, you're watching a film, the amount of ads you have to go through is ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. With that being said, let's talk about K-Dot. Now, K-Dot released a new album called GNX, and I also want to talk about Drizzy's pettiness overload by far. Now, so K-Dot has obviously dropped an album, GNX. It's got about 12 songs on there. I think the whole album is probably about 45 minutes long. I haven't had the opportunity to listen to every song on there, but I've heard about 8 songs so far. And Luther Squabble Up is my favourite so far. Luther and Squabble Up are my favourite. Like with the whole album, he really embraces Californian culture, and with the visuals of Squabble Up, you can see that he embraces Cali culture, from what they wear to the black culture to the Mexicans. I just really like it. The visuals are very simplistic, but obviously speak volumes. No theatrics or nothing. It's just pure creativity. And I think that's one thing I like about K-Dot's visuals. It's just creativity. There's no like sprinkle glitter. This is it. This is reality type of thing, and I like it. But one of these songs, he actually made a reference to some podcasters who made a remark about black women, and I just thought, what was the remark that bad that K-Dot had to actually make a reference to it in his song? So I went to go and check it out for myself to see whether or not it was true. That scene was clearly not scripted on the podcast Brilliant Idiots, but what I would say, it was, that scene wasn't scripted. The only thing I would say is, obviously, don't co-sign things that could be deemed as derogatory to women, like that. Because when I was actually listening to the podcast, I just think sometimes, do you know what? All I'm saying is that, joke or no joke, when someone talks derogatory about somebody in any form of light, don't co-sign that. Because it never looks good. And when you go into other podcasts and you say something similar, and especially when you're not from there, that's not good. That's not good. Because when I was listening to Whack Tap Mirrors, I was thinking, why did K-Dot make that reference? It don't make sense, just randomly making a reference. But he never does anything randomly. So who knows if it's in reference to this or not. But one thing I'll say is, don't really say things like that, or don't really co-sign things that are derogatory to another person. And then what makes it worse is when you go on another podcast and you say something kind of similar, because even though both countries speak English, things get misconstrued when you don't necessarily intentionally mean that. Anyway, one thing I learned, obviously, when being in America, which really stands true to this day, if you really have nothing constructive or positive to say, really don't say nothing, especially when it's talking about black women. Don't say nothing. Overall, I think Luther is probably my favourite so far, and Squabble Up. His visuals, I love the visuals for Scrabble Up because I feel like it implores people to be different and really get into like their creative bag. It has people singing or speaking in different dialects on the album, and I like it. There's a bit of churchy element to it, and I think that's what I mean. But when I say you got people speaking in different dialects, but it's like very churchy. Do you know what I mean? The song number 6. I like it on his album. It's different because you got 2 different personas on the song. It kind of reminds me of like DMX and Chucky. I don't know, but I like it. I really, really like that song. I like it because it was different. I like it. I like the whole album because he's very conscious. He's a woke and articulate artist. I wouldn't even say rapper. But you can still vibe out and have fun whilst listening to it. And it definitely gives you that kind of West Coast sunny vibe. It obviously has collabs on there with SZA and some other West Coast artists as well. And it's definitely a West Coast album. I really like it. Really bright, sunny vibes. I still got 4 more songs to listen to. But overall, I just think it's really good. It's just a laid back vibe. And for people that are conscious thinkers and critical thinkers, yeah, I think it's really good. Anyway, I digress. I really think it's good. Rizzy makes me laugh. Rizzy makes me laugh. His pettiness overload is hilarious, but then again, I'll do the same thing if someone's annoyed me. So he went onto a streamer's platform where he was on an he basically what happened, right, was that he went onto a streamer's platform, right? And then when he got onto the streamer's platform, I think there was some background music playing from an R&B person in the background, and he was like, no, not today. That guy's so petty, but I'm here for it because I would do the same thing if I don't like somebody or I'm not really feeling someone, so I'll probably do the same thing. But I laugh so hard. He's hilarious. It would be very good to hear music from him, primarily because I feel like he is an artist that is able to diversify. He's an artist that is able to kind of transmute into different genres. This is why to this day he's still very relatable, still very relevant, and he's obviously a force to be kind of reckoned with in the industry. Yeah, he's not, you know, then you get artists and they sing and they just sing that same song, maybe drop a different soundtrack or different beat, but he's very obviously he's very talented. If he wasn't talented, we wouldn't be talking about him. But what I would say is that he just needs to put out music. We need to just hear some music, and once we hear music, that will be good. Maybe 2025 will be the year in which he brings out music. Who knows? Other day, I came across a song. Was it? Could I say it's a song? I came across I think it's grime or something music. I'm a hip hop person and R&B because those are the type of genres I like. Dancehall, those are the type of genres I like. Grime is not really my scene. Well, grime hasn't really been in for a minute, for some years. But I was bopping along to this song and it kind of made me reflect like I was like 18 or something. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. But what I would prefer, you know what I would really like to see with the genre of grime is for it to do collaborations with hip hop. I like it to be more kind of diversified than it is. I think that would be absolutely amazing to see. Yeah, I think that would be really, really amazing to see if we could potentially see more collaborations with R&B artists, more collaborations with hip hop artists. Because it gets to a point sometimes when you're listening to that type of music, it kind of gets stagnant if you're kind of using the same beat, the kind of same sound. But because you haven't heard grime in so long, it's just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? It reminded me of like my Pow days. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of my Pow days. But generally, I actually thought it was sensational. I absolutely loved it. I must have rewinded it about 3 or 4 times. But I genuinely liked it, but I feel like with that whole kind of music scene, the whole grime scene type of thing. I would really love it if they did collaborations with R&B artists, hip hop artists, just to give it a different type of feel, a different type of vibe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I thought it was good, especially that guy that came out in the bowler hat and he sounded like he was proper from the East End. I loved it, absolutely loved it. It was sensational. Yeah, I like that. But the only thing I would say is, can we do more collaborations? If they're gonna do grime, can we do more collaborations with R&B artists, and talk about other things, talk about love, talk about something else. Just it was a breath of fresh air. It was good. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Can we get some collaborations now with R&B artists and hip hop artists, just to give it a different feel, not the same sound, because it gets boring. Oh, peace out, take care, bye bye.